Lewis Hamilton has just finished testing in Bahrain, and his feelings with the SF25 have been surprisingly positive. Is a competitive rebirth coming with Ferrari? But before I tell you why this could change everything, 10 in the comments. Do you think Hamilton will be able to fight for the title in 2024? Lewis Hamilton has taken an unexpected turn in his career after testing in Bahrain. After years at Mercedes, where his frustration grew due to a car that did not respond as he needed, the Briton has found a completely different feeling at Ferrari. From the first moment at the wheel of the SF25, his statements have revealed something that had not been seen in him for a long time: full confidence in his machine and renewed motivation. In recent years with Mercedes, Hamilton expressed on more than one occasion that the car did not allow him to extract its maximum performance. The constant difficulties with stability in curves and the lack of response to his adjustments were factors that led him to question whether he was really in a position to continue fighting for titles. It wasn't just about numbers or grid positions, but a feeling of stagnation, that his skills could not shine due to the team's technical limitations. However, the tests in Bahrain have marked a turning point. The connection with the SF25 has been immediate. Hamilton has described the car as intuitive and predictable, two fundamental characteristics for a driver who bases his success on aggressive but calculated driving. The difference with the Mercedes car is evident, and this is not only reflected in his lap times, but in his attitude on and off the track. He has been seen to be more relaxed, smiling, and above all, with a body language that transmits confidence. The adaptation has not been just a change of car, but a relearning process that has allowed him to feel competitive again. Ferrari has designed a car with a different philosophy, optimizing aspects such as weight distribution and aerodynamic efficiency, which has given Hamilton a tool that he can really exploit. After each session in Bahrain, his times have been progressively improving, indicating that he is still on a learning curve, but with a clear and positive progression. Beyond performance on track, there is another aspect that has made the difference in this new beginning. Communication with the engineers and integration into the Ferrari culture have been key in this process. While at Mercedes in recent years, technical decisions seem to generate more frustration than solutions, at Ferrari he has found a team that is willing to mold the car to his driving style. This level of mutual trust is something he has not experienced for some time, and could be the key to a resurgence that many thought impossible. The impact of this change is not only measured in terms of feelings or optimistic statements, but in the way Hamilton projects himself towards the future. Instead of talking about limitations or finding excuses in the car, he now focuses on evolution, on the potential for improvement, and on the challenge of competing again at the elite level. This is the crucial difference between a driver who is in decline and one who is preparing for a new assault on the title. Lewis Hamilton's adaptation to the SF25 has not been just a question of sensations, but of a deep technical process that he has carried out with the Ferrari team. From the first moment, the seven-time champion understood that his arrival in Maranello was not just about getting into a competitive car, but about integrating into a new work ecosystem, understanding the technical language of the team and making adjustments that allow him to extract the maximum potential from the car. One of the aspects that has drawn the most attention in the Bahrain tests has been the speed with which Hamilton has managed to interpret the characteristics of the SF25. After years at Mercedes, where each adjustment to the configuration of the car went through a meticulous and sometimes frustrating process, Ferrari has offered him a car with a more direct response to his needs. This change has not been a coincidence. During the first few test sessions, the focus was on understanding how the car responded to different levels of downforce and where on the track they could be more aggressive without compromising balance. Working with the engineers has been key in this process. In technical meetings, Hamilton has been actively involved in data analysis, identifying areas where the car could be improved and providing detailed feedback on the suspension, brake distribution, and engine response under traction. This fluid communication has allowed Ferrari to make specific adjustments to make the SF25 better suited to his driving style. A clear example of this has been the optimization of stability in high-speed corners, an aspect that in recent years had been a weak point at Mercedes and which now seems to be completely under control. Another determining factor has been his ability to interpret technical information and apply it immediately on track. In the simulator sessions prior to testing, he had already shown a keen interest in understanding every detail of the car, from suspension geometry to weight distribution. This mindset has made the transition to Ferrari much more natural, allowing him to reduce adaptation time and focus his attention on pure performance. Unlike other drivers who need several races to feel comfortable in a new team, Hamilton has managed to find a competitive rhythm in just a few days of testing, which demonstrates not only his talent, but his ability to analyze and adjust in real time. Beyond the technical part, confidence in the car has been a fundamental factor. The feeling of control over the SF25 has made his driving style aggressive and precise again, something that was not so clear in his last years at Mercedes. The combination of a more stable car, efficient communication with the engineers, and a mentality focused on evolution has been the key to his adaptation being quick and effective. Now, with a car that responds exactly as he needs, Hamilton is in a position to exploit his maximum level without the limitations that held him back in the past. Lewis Hamilton has shown in Bahrain that his motivation is at its highest point in years. Despite having turned 40, his attitude and energy are reminiscent of a young driver hungry for glory. During the test sessions, he has not only shown competitive pace, but a determination that contrasts with the uncertainty he experienced in his last seasons with Mercedes. His body language, his statements, and his focus on every technical detail make it clear that he has not come to Ferrari to be just another driver, but to write a new chapter in his career. In his recent interviews, Hamilton has made it clear that his ambition has not diminished with the passage of time. He has mentioned that he feels physically at his best and that he sees no reason to think about retirement in the short term. He has compared his mentality to that of elite athletes such as Tom Brady or LeBron James, who have challenged the idea that age is a limiting factor in high performance. The key behind his competitive longevity is not only his natural talent, but the discipline with which he has looked after his body and mentality over the years. His physical training has evolved to adapt to the demands of modern Formula One, and his focus on recovery and mental preparation has been fundamental to maintaining his level at the top of motorsport. The move to Ferrari has been a determining factor in his renewed motivation. After so many years at Mercedes, where frustration with the car became increasingly evident, the possibility of starting a new stage in a historic team has given him a renewed purpose. Ferrari not only represents the opportunity to fight for an 8th title, but also the challenge of returning the Italian team to glory. Hamilton has acknowledged that being part of this process generates extra motivation for him, since he knows that he is not only competing for himself, but for a team that has been trying to regain its place at the top for years. Hamilton's influence within Ferrari has also been a factor that has reinforced his determination. His arrival has had an immediate impact on the team's mentality, especially on drivers such as Charles Leclerc, who has recognized the importance of having a multiple world champion as a teammate. Hamilton has taken on a role that goes beyond being just a driver, getting involved in the team dynamics and strategic decision-making. He has shown interest in learning Ferrari's technical language, in understanding the team's working philosophy, and in contributing his experience to optimize the car's performance. His approach to testing in Bahrain is a reflection of this mindset. He has not been content to simply adapt to the car, but has actively sought ways to improve his performance, trying different setups and analyzing every detail with the engineers. In every session, his approach has been that of someone who not only wants to compete, but to win. This level of commitment is what differentiates great champions from drivers who are just looking to stay on the grid. The message Hamilton is sending to Formula One is clear. He has not come to Ferrari to retire in a few years, but to once again be a protagonist in the fight for the title. His motivation has no expiry date, and his performance in Bahrain is proof that he is ready to face the biggest challenge of his career. With a renewed mindset and a car that allows him to exploit his maximum level, the Briton is more motivated than ever to challenge the new generation and show that he still has a lot to offer in Formula One. Lewis Hamilton has left Bahrain with a feeling he has not had for years, the certainty that he can once again be a serious contender for the title. His rapid adaptation to the SF25, his connection with Ferrari engineers, and his renewed mentality have completely changed the landscape of Formula One for the next season. The transition from Mercedes to Ferrari has not only been a change of team, but a competitive rebirth that could redefine his legacy in motorsport. Doubts about whether Hamilton could maintain his level after so many years in the category seem to have been left behind. Not only has he shown that his talent remains intact, but that his capacity for evolution and learning make him a real threat to his rivals. Unlike other team changes where drivers need months to feel comfortable with their new car, Hamilton has managed to find confidence in the SF25 in record time. This factor could make the difference when the season starts and every point counts in the fight for the championship. The impact of his arrival at Ferrari transcends the sporting aspect. His presence has injected a new energy into the Italian team, motivating not only his teammates, but also the engineers and the entire technical structure. His detailed approach and experience have made this change more than just a bet by Ferrari on a driver with a successful track record. It is a statement of intent. The combination of a historic team with a driver who still has the ambition to reach the top could be the formula that Ferrari needed to dominate the category again. Now, the big question is whether this new chapter in Hamilton's career will be enough to challenge the dominance of Red Bull and Max Verstappen. The season hasn't even started yet, but the signs in Bahrain indicate that Hamilton hasn't come to Ferrari to be a supporting actor. His determination, discipline, and ability to adapt have made this transition more than just a change of colors. He has regained the motivation that led him to become a 7-time world champion and seems ready to write a new story in Formula One. The season will be the stage where everything will be defined, but one thing is certain: Hamilton is ready to defy any predictions. Now the question is for the audience. Do you think this will be the year Hamilton fights for the championship again? Leave your opinion in the comments and subscribe so you don't miss the most detailed analysis of each race. This is just the beginning of a story that promises to be one of the most exciting in recent times in Formula One.